What do F1 legends think about Max Verstappen? Max Verstappen is the Dutch pride when it comes to F1 racing. This young gentleman has been able to defeat the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton in the 2021 season in an intense battle. He's been astonishing at such a young age, and last year's championship only proved that he's the future of F1. His recent success hasn't gone unnoticed by F1 legends, and in this video, we're going to share their opinions on Max Verstappen. Stay with us until the very end of this video as we'll reveal the backstory of Verstappen and what F1 legends think of him as a driver. If you think you knew everything about him and other people's opinions of him, you'll be shocked to learn some new facts about Max. Ever since his debut for Red Bull in 2016, the F1 world was very positively surprised of what kind of driver Red Bull grew in their sister factory of Toro Rosso. Max is known for his aggressive moves, the mindset of never giving up, and always pushing for the win even if that seems impossible. However, as a driver, Max has had some bad traits too and is far away from a perfect driver. First, a short introduction to Max's career. He has been in the racing sport ever since he was a kid, from the age of 4. Karting was his first racing experience, and his rival back then was Leclerc, also an F1 driver, and one of the main favorites for the 2022 Drivers' Championship. Max's father, Jos Verstappen, was also an F1 driver, but his success hasn't been able to match Max's legacy remotely. He debuted for Red Bull in 2016 at just 18 years of age, managing to win Barcelona GP after the infamous crash between Rosberg and Hamilton. 2 years prior to that, Verstappen drove for Toro Rosso, now AlphaTauri, as this team molds the drivers that are supposed to be the next big names in Red Bull. So after this phenomenal debut in Red Bull, it was only natural to think that Verstappen was the next big thing in the F1 world. What describes Verstappen the most is his unique driving style. He's a driver that likes to push the car to its limits, something that has been shown multiple times on team radio communications. On one occasion during the 2020 season, Verstappen was getting very close to Hamilton in Silverstone. However, a dirty air issue was causing the car to possibly overheat, and Verstappen was told to hold back. His response was very interesting. "Mate, this is the only chance of being close to the Mercedes. I'm not just sitting behind like a grandma," Verstappen replied over the radio. As for his driving style, it's safe to say that Verstappen resembles Senna. Ayrton Senna was known for his aggressive movements, and there's one quote from him that very much suits Verstappen. "If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver." Still, Verstappen's a driver that has a very infamous habit, which is his anger issues. He's often seen as an uncontrollable guy that can't just let bygones be bygones. During the 2018 season in Interlagos, Brazil, Ocon and Verstappen crashed after the Dutch had the win, and Ocon was supposed to let him by as he was being overlapped. However, the Frenchman failed to do this successfully, which resulted in a crash, and Verstappen lost the lead to Hamilton, ending P2. He had a very juicy argument with Ocon afterward, resulting in him pushing and shoving him in his own garage. He even had some interesting choice words post-race, as he called him straightforward idiot. We don't have to go back to 2018 to see Verstappen's clashes with his rivals, although Ocon is hardly his rival. Last year, when he was exiting the pits in Monza, he got really close with Hamilton. After failing to give up enough space, Verstappen refused to back down, and that resulted in him hitting the sausage curb at turn 1. He crashed into Hamilton, and both of them had to retire. As Verstappen said, "That's what you get when you don't leave enough space on the team radio." All of these toxic traits have molded Verstappen into what he is today, but we must say that in the 2022 season, he seems much more composed and stellar. He doesn't have rage outbursts, and his car was unable to finish in 2 out of 7 races so far. But what do the F1 legends think of his profile? Eddie Irvine is a former champion for Ferrari. As he won the title in 1999 against Mika Häkkinen, Irvine was Schumacher's teammate for 4 years, and he believes that Max resembles Schumacher mostly with his racing profile. When asked why, he said that this resemblance is because Verstappen has been able to outgrow all of his teammates. He's super fast, and you can see that he's by far the most dominant team leader on the grid. He's had many different second drivers in the team, and none of them have got close to him. So it's a bit like the Michael Schumacher effect. While Lewis has been regularly outqualified and outperformed by his teammates, you'd have to say Verstappen is probably the ultimate talent. Although Lewis is a consummate professional and has very few weak spots, said Irvine when asked about the 2021 championship battle between Verstappen and Hamilton. Another racing great that shared his opinion on Max is Mario Andretti, a former F1 champion. Talent at that level is very rare. He didn't just show it as a flash in the pan, he demonstrated his promise, and that's why he was given the reward of going from Toro Rosso to the Red Bull team, said Andretti. Considering the fact that he's a very versatile racer that competed and won events in IndyCar and NASCAR apart from F1, his opinion is very well argument-based to say the least. Alain Prost has also shared his opinion on Max Verstappen. Prost is a former teammate of Ayrton Senna and McLaren, winner of 4 championships and 51 Grand Prix. Therefore, he also had some praising words for the young champion. I'm very happy for Jos, his father, because I'm in that position too, and I've been watching my kids compete and my grandkids now, so I know the satisfaction that brings to the family. I think that Max has cemented himself in the world of F1, and many experts are looking at him as a potential world champion. No doubt about it, said Prost before Verstappen won the championship at the age of 18. So the legend himself has predicted the future. I sometimes talk with him, and the amount of race experience he has at 18 years is unbelievable. He's 18 years old and knows all the tricks of an experienced driver. From my generation with Senna to Schumacher, Alonso to Vettel, and now Max, it was always in the same direction. The driver's getting younger, finished Prost. However, Prost pointed out the fact that modern F1 cars allow young drivers to have better performance. He said that back in his day, the car itself required a lot of experience and kilometers for the driver to succeed in it. Nowadays, that's not the case, as we've seen the uprising of tons of young talent. Nevertheless, Prost has praised Max for his talent and his skill set. Niki Lauda is a very strong name in the F1 world. He's been able to win a championship after a 2-year absence, which was his 3rd one. However, Lauda was more critical of Max and other legends. If Verstappen wouldn't drive that aggressively, it would develop much better. His talent is unbelievable, but then he smashes it all with these stupid actions. He doesn't realize he thinks he's going through everything right, but he isn't. He has to calm down. I don't know where this arrogance everything comes from. I don't understand. The fury of the other drivers just gets bigger and bigger, finished Lauda. A much younger world champion has shared his thoughts on Verstappen, and that is Jenson Button. He won the F1 championship with Braun GP in 2009, who were using the engine units of Honda. He believes that Verstappen's talent is a bit more expressed on the field compared to other drivers. He's immensely talented. For raw talent, he's probably the most talented in history. I know a lot of people who won't agree with me on that. The most complete driver out there in terms of experience and the way they go about their racing is Lewis Hamilton. But for raw talent, I think it has to be Max. So Red Bull are not going to want to let him go, said Button in an interview prior to the Spanish GP. When asked about which drivers were the best that he raced against, Button said that Schumacher, Hamilton, Häkkinen, and Alonso are the top 4. He had a rich racing career from 2000 to 2017. Apart from that, he also had Verstappen as one of the most potential and brightest stars that he raced against in the short time of both of them that they were on the track, from 2014 to 2017. He praised his remarkable drive in Brazil in 2016, where Verstappen was able to reach P3 from P14 after heavy rain was present on the track. This is where Max has shown great potential to drive in the rain, and ever since then, whenever there's rain anticipation for the weekend, Verstappen is the guy that everybody expects from him to shine. Verstappen will go down as one of the greatest drivers in F1 history. So far, he's been able to win a championship against a 7-time world champion as his main competitor. The 2022 season is shaping up to be his year in the first 7 races, and he's currently having 2 main rivals for the title, Leclerc and Perez. The 3 drivers are in a 15 points difference between P1 and P3, and nothing is certain so early in the season. So, what's your opinion of Verstappen? Do you think he deserves a nickname, Crash Stoppin' or Mad Max, or do you believe he deserves the Dutch Lion or Super Max more? Let us know in the comments how you feel about the 2021 champion. Take care and drive safely.